I'm Ranger Christine, and we're actually going to be exploring the night sky together, which is kind of ironic because we don't have it tonight, but that's okay. We'll use our imagination, we'll get through it, we'll learn a lot. We'll do a couple fun activities about the night sky, and we'll just get started. So campfires, what we usually do, campfires are a great way to learn about different things, kind of like the night sky. And a lot of people don't really appreciate the night sky like maybe they used to, because we have such busy daily lives that we don't kind of take the time to look up and appreciate it, because we're usually in bed. We're usually tired from the day, from the stresses of life, so we're usually sleeping by the time it's dark enough to really appreciate what the night sky has to offer. So that's kind of how we're going to be exploring today, kind of look at everything that the night sky has to offer. One quote I do want everybody to kind of keep in the back of their mind throughout the program is actually one from Vincent van Gogh. A lot of people do know this picture. It's his Starry Night painting, so it's pretty popular. His quote about this picture is actually, "For my part, I know nothing with any certainty, but the sight of the stars makes me dream." So kind of he's saying, well, we maybe don't understand everything that there is about the night sky, but just if we remember to look up and appreciate it, you don't know what might happen, what dream, what might inspire you from looking up and seeing the night sky. So with that said, I would like, if anybody would like to help me learn about the stars, I have these fun gold stars to pass out. So if anybody wants to raise their hand, and then I'm going to ask you to read it, and you'll have to read it real loud for me so everybody can hear. Wonderful, thank you.
Who doesn't want a gold star? Come on.
Okay. Shame us into taking a gold star.
Thank you. Anybody? Oh, there's so many more. Great. All right, let's start on this side, and we'll just kind of make our way around so we can learn about all the facts about the stars. And nice and loud if you want to go ahead and start for us.
Many stars come in pairs called binary stars. There are some groupings with up to 4 stars.
Our star, the sun, is yellow and is a medium temperature star.
Stars are balls of hot explosive gas that make their own light and heat energy. They're mostly made up of 2 gases called hydrogen and helium.
Some stars go out with a brilliant explosion called a supernova. Sometimes a supernova leaves a small, dense center behind called a black hole.
Our sun, which is named Sol, and is so big that 1 million Earths can fit inside.
Wow.
On a very clear night and far away from any light sources, you might be able to see 2,500 stars.
Wow.
People have used the North Star for centuries to guide them. Other stars move, but the North Star stays fixed in the sky.
The most common stars are red dwarfs, half the size of our sun, with a life cycle of 100 billion years.
Stars come in many different colors, and their color tells what temperature they are. Hotter stars are blue, while ones that aren't so hot are red.
The most massive stars can be as much as 2 billion miles wide.
Wow.
Our sun is only 860,000 miles across.
The average star is between 1 and 10 billion years old, although some stars are older than this.
There's one back there.
The Milky Way galaxy contains an estimated 100 to 400 billion stars.
And last one?
The Milky Way is the galaxy in which our solar system resides. Its age is estimated at 13.2 billion years old.
Great, thank you. So who had this? I believe you had the star about navigation, correct? Can you read that one more time for us?
People have used the North Star for centuries to guide them. Other stars move, but the North Star stays fixed in the sky.
Thank you. So people use obviously the North Star for navigation, and that's really relevant to where we are now, because runaway slaves used the North Star as navigation on the Underground Railroad. So they use that to point them towards freedom of Canada. So they follow it north. There's actually a song called Follow the Drinking Gourd, if anybody's familiar with that. The drinking gourd is another name for the Big Dipper. So the Big Dipper has 2 stars, or it has the star that points towards the North Star. So there was an Underground Railroad operative. His name was Peg Leg Joe. And he went around and he told the song to runaway slaves so they would know how to get to freedom in Canada. So now that we've talked about the stars, thank you for doing, I'll collect those. The Big Dipper is a constellation, like a lot of people know, is a grouping of stars. And for our next activity, we're actually going to learn more about constellations, and we're going to learn about Greek legends about those constellations. I have hot pink pieces of paper over there that have birth months on it. So if everybody here know their birthday? Yeah? Okay, great. So if you find your pink piece of paper that has your birthday on it and will form groups, there is a constellation story on the back of that. If everybody can form those groups, we can combine groups if needed. Talk about that story, and there is a question I kind of want you guys to think about when you are in your groups, and that's just simply, what is the best gift you've received? Maybe it was for a birthday, maybe it was for another occasion. So if you guys want to go ahead over here, follow me, and we can find where our birthday is over here.
Chiron had galloped into a battle where some bad senators approached him by mistake. When Chiron fell to the ground, all of the other centaurs galloped with him.
Did you know we had a long before? Did you guys have one? Yeah,
my firstborn.
Yeah, it's a good one. I'm trying to think of mine. I always remember the day I got my first. That was exciting. Bike. Yeah, I got it for Christmas, so I was trying to ride it in the winter. No, but I did it.
I always get t-shirts at Christmas, and I get long sleeve shirts at my birthday in August.
Yeah. Maybe one day it'll fix itself out, right? Still hasn't.
Hasn't so far. A lot of years.
Oh, okay. So, does anybody want to share their favorite gift that they received? Anything really memorable? Mine favorite was my bike that I received actually on Christmas.
That was what I said.
Yeah, and I had to ride it through the snow, but I was determined to ride my bike no matter what because I was so excited that I got it. Anybody else?
I got a guitar, and I passed it off to my niece when she was old enough to take lessons.
Oh, cool.
Nice. Did you take lessons?
I did. I ended up playing in church on Sundays for years.
All right, so our next actual activity is kind of a part of constellations, and I have two rangers helping me out pass out the next activity. It is actually creating your own constellation. What is important to you? What would you want to rearrange the stars to look like? It could be your face, it could be your favorite food, it could be whatever you think should be in the stars. Something that you think would have a good story, a good legacy, and that could be whatever seems important to you at this moment in your life. So I'll give everybody a minute to get their stars and get their night sky to kind of form their constellations, and I will pass out the markers now to do that. Feel free to write your stories about your constellations later on, because I know those stories can get pretty detailed. So, as you can probably tell from the other ones you read earlier a couple minutes ago. So just a few more minutes finishing up, and then if anybody would like to share what they drew and maybe a little bit of the story, that'd be great. Are you ready? Do you want to share yours? You can share yours.
Is it a boat?
No, as I explained to her, it's a horsey. It's a sailboat. Being out on Lake Erie after dark and looking up, you can't even believe how great it is. You really can't, unless you're there laying on the deck looking up.
Very cool.
Who else would like to share? You want to share yours?
I can follow on that.
Sure.
So, it's an airplane. Wanted to fly all my life. I have flown for the last 40 years. And while I'm sure his experience on the lake looking up is great, when you're up there in the stars and looking up, it's pretty cool too.
Awesome. Awesome.
Right. Well, do you want to share your phone?
Yeah, this is a cat's face. My cat Grigio. This is his face. Grigio appears at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. on my pillow, breathing on my face. And guess what? My husband drew. What?
That's so funny.
John, go.
Yeah, I just highlighted some of the points of stars and I called it the swarm. And I said that at night when the stars appear, so do the mosquitoes. Sometimes seeming as numerous as the stars.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, I drew a house. I called it Ecos, which is the Greek word for home. And the star Ecos is my permanent home away from home.
Oh.
Okay, go ahead.
This is a bird. I guess I figured I'm not aware of a constellation of a bird. We've got mammals, we've got people, we've got crustaceans, we've got reptiles, but there's no birds. So I thought we needed a bird constellation. And I figured I'd make up a story about it taking a dust bath in the cosmic dust.
Did you want to share yours? Go ahead.
This is the mountains. And I've always loved looking up in the mountains and being impressed by, God, it's amazing. It seems to go on forever. But I also love skiing down them, so I love the mountains.
Here, here.
This is the crudest conceivable rendering of the black bear I haven't seen in this park yet.
He was in Brecksville.
So maybe I'll look up and see it.
And I drew a heart. And mine was that my story would be about people looking up in the sky, dropping their weapons, holding hands, and reminding themselves of that reading that we did at my wedding. You know, love is patient, love is kind, love is slow to anger. So that would be mine.
Wonderful. Thank you. Any last ones want to share their constellation before we move on? Well, yeah, go ahead.
Well, Alaska's always been on my bucket list, and I haven't gotten there yet. So I drew the great sled pulled by two huskies carrying food to my igloo.
Ah, very nice.
Go ahead.
I haven't completely finished, but that's a start up as a dog. My dog, body, the head, and tail, stick it out.
That's what I was going to draw. I was starting to draw my dog because she needs to be in the stars, and I'm assuming your dog needs to be up there too. They can be friends up there, right?
Probably not very long.
Alrighty, well thank you everybody for sharing your constellation stories with us. That kind of moves us on to, from constellations and from the stars, one thing we haven't talked about yet is just the night sky itself. The darkness that is the night sky. And some reasons why maybe we can't, obviously today we can't see it because it is a little bright out. Does anybody know any other reasons why we might not see the night sky in our where we live right today? Go ahead.
Light pollution.
Exactly, yeah, that was the answer I was looking for. I got that very quick, thank you. So this is actually a picture of the United States at night with all the light pollution. It's very unfortunate, and there are many national parks that are designated dark sky parks. It's one of the missions of, part of the mission of the National Park Service is to preserve and protect, and actually the night sky is a part of that, preserving and protecting for future generations. For light pollution, it's actually easier to reduce than a lot of people think. Simple changes to your outside lights, changes you can make tonight. I'll pass this around, it just kind of shows. If you have an outside post, a lot of people do, the top that kind of shields the light from going out into the sky is something simple you could change. Another thing you can do is just close your blinds at night. Keep your light inside your house. Something a lot of people don't think about. And motion lights, if it's a safety issue, just have the light on when it's needed, not necessarily all throughout the night. I actually have a board set up in the back at the end of the program. If you guys want to take a look and see anything that interests you, something you'd be willing to do to help with the light pollution, since it is something that our little fixes can make a big difference for us to be able to experience the night sky. I have a couple other pictures I'm going to pass around from those designated dark sky national parks. Some things that maybe some people have seen, some people wish they will see in the future. Acadia National Park is actually on my must-see list. I haven't made it there yet, but once you look at this picture, it's hard not to want to go out there and see. So I'll start these and I'll pass them around so you guys can check them out.
Northern Michigan, there's an area right up near Mackinac that's pretty incredible. You're looking out over Lake Michigan, you know, in the dark sky, and it's pretty impressive.
Most of northern Michigan is actually pretty good for that.
Guadalupe Mountain out in New Mexico.
It was so bright.
On top of the mountain at 3 o'clock in the morning.
It was so bright.
100-mile-an-hour winds, but beautiful, beautiful sky.
Wonderful. Thank you all for sharing. I learn something new every time I talk about the night sky, which is very awesome. I've always been interested in the night sky, so I was very excited to do this program for you tonight. That's kind of where we're going to end it for tonight. And if anybody remembers what I asked you to think about at the beginning, this quote from Vincent van Gogh. So you know nothing with any certainty, but the sight of the stars can make you dream. And I just hope you learned something about stars, constellations, enough to pique your interest to maybe go out, go look for a clear night sky, free from light pollution, that maybe you can look up, see a star, make a wish upon it, and just kind of enjoy your time there and really change your value that a lot of people kind of are missing with the night sky. So with that, I thank you all for being here and listening to my night sky program. Thank you.